from Ito Farina. And again, thank you to Michael Cornwell for retweeting a lot of this stuff and sharing it. Kind of helps out with the outline. So Ito Farina, XRP, he says, boom, XRP, Ripple, Mastercard taking over global payments. Now, if you watched, I think it was this morning, right? I did that chopped up quant video in regards to, Mastercard. But it's not just about one particular platform, just going with one, crypto project, if you will. But there is this whole thing of Ripple and Mastercard. And it says in a recent article, listen to this, CBDC trust in the evolution of money. And it was published by Mastercard, mentions specifically a CBDC platform over with Ripple, right, in regards to the XRP ledger, as part of the inaugural set of CBDC partner program. That's definitely worth paying attention to. MasterCard also holds a patent for, quote, offline transactions in digital currencies. The XRPL has been previously modified by XtoPay to provide out-of-order transactions that are required for offline modes, expiring tokens, recovery accounts, built-in digital ID features, etc., etc., etc. MasterCard and Ripple are working together to revolutionize digital payments using XRP as a bridge currency and the XRPL. So again, this is why we kind of show you some of the stuff in regards to R3 as well, right? So I'm going to blow this up. Hopefully this is big enough. If not, I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's bigger. That's better. Bigger and better. All right. So look what it says from MasterCard, straight from their site. I mean, this is obviously if you connect it, with your mobile app. It says, MasterCard is safe, the new sexy. CBDC's trust in the evolution of money. August 17, 2023. So not that long ago, guys, just a couple months ago. How MasterCard is exploring the CBDC ecosystem in 2023. Of course, I gave you the quant outline. What about the Ripple outline? Well, you have a whole bunch of things here. I'm not going to get into all this stuff. But I will read at least the one from the United States because I think the majority of us are here in the United States. And, I'm not discounting, some of you guys that watch from overseas and so on. Hey, I love you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. But where it says on the whole thing in the United States, various financial service players on the feasibility of the regulated liability network, including a theoretical wholesale CBDC and commercial bank deposit tokens. Remember how I tied that in earlier? You ever wonder why I start off the outline like that? Before you can get an example when we get to this particular part, right? I try to tie in everything for you to have a broader understanding, even if I might lose you a little bit, right? I understand some of this stuff can get kind of dry. But look at this highlight. The inaugural set of partners includes just that CBDC platform Ripple, blockchain and Web3 software company Consensus. How many times Consensus gets recognized and referenced? Multi-CBDC and tokenized asset solution provider Fluency. That's why I put so much emphasis the last few days or weeks on tokenization. Digital identity technology provider Edemia. When I read that, I think bad stuff because my dad has edema, right? That's a bad condition. Digital identity consultant, which is Consult Hyperion, Security Technology Group. Jaseki plus Devrand, and digital asset operations platform Fireblocks. Interesting. Now, I will read the top part. I don't know why I didn't include that. England, Bank of England, and the Bank of International Settlements, as we know, Innovation Hub on how APIs could facilitate retail CBDC payments. Again, for you guys that don't know much about quant, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I will do my best to kind of help educate you on that. But that is where quant really, really stands out, especially when it comes to APIs. Like, that is a huge utility layer for quant and that Overledger platform, right? That operating system, as in the Overledger. All right. Let me see if this might be the part where we have to pause. Give me a second. Let me just double check. No, it's not. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we got a little bit more. So let's pull this up. I'll paste this into it. This is good stuff. A lot of details here. How about Global CBDC Challenge? Let me just see if you can see it real quick. You can. This is good stuff as well. You have safe, sustainable, and inclusive finance. Look what's highlighted. All right, you want some confirmation about Ripple? Because I know I was talking about quant for just a bit. The XODOT system is based on a modified what? XRP ledger to support private permission clusters for each financial institution. XOPay, or XTOPay, excuse me, has modified the XRP ledger to provide for provide for out of order transactions. Sometimes I read too much, right? That are required for offline modes, expiring tokens, recovery accounts, and built-in digital ID features. Interesting. Now, this part isn't highlighted. I don't know why they didn't highlight this. I will explain this to you. Another thing I want to point out is where it mentions this whole thing of, for instance, R3. So it says, for the proof of concept designed in the collaboration with Alluvial, core banking platform partner, and utilizing open source Apache Fineract and Moja Loop switch technology, XTOPay will connect its distributed ledger backend to bank accounts and mobile money. Now, earlier we talked about some of those backend systems, right? I give you some visuals. But the proof of concept will integrate with what? Yeah, that's right. You read that right. R3 core as a tier 1 CBDC layer. So you understand that we can't get exact amounts on R3. Of course we couldn't, because if you think about it, that is a unified ledger, and from every aspect of all this talk about CBDCs and so on, or your ripples and you name it, it's right there. But it's what? A tier 1 CBDC layer. So this further solidifies everything that we covered tonight about this whole concept of a CBDC ecosystem. Are you now having a broader sense of how this all comes together? This is why I don't want to be a maxi of just XRP or just quant or like your stellars or your H bars and so on. One common denominator, I hate to call it that, is what, guys? ISO 222 and ISO TC 307 through quant. I have went all out on all of those. That's what I chose to do. It's not financial advice. What do you choose to do? All right. And that last part, Exto Labs is ready to contribute intellectual property to an open hardware wallet standard and protocols. A hardware wallet. That's interesting in itself. Could you have a case in the future where you have, for instance, it's just instead of like, we have ledgers, right? You might have the Nano S or the Nano X. What about in the future, like an actual hardware wallet or cold storage for institutional money? I know that sounds crazy, but you want to know something? A lot of things sound crazy. All right. Let me jump back to a little bit more of what we have. I think there might be one more particular page. Yep, there is. Yep, this is the last part of this segment, and then we'll pause and get back into the comments. So I do want to share this. It comes from Justia. We do recognize some of their patents. I love Justia. I reference to their patents for JASMY all the time. Obviously, this is not JASMY coverage. We'll get into a little bit about that in a bit. But here you have it, and I'll come out of the frame for a second because I want to put emphasis on this. So look what's mentioned here for a moment. You have some of these key patents, and maybe I can make it even that much more bigger. Let's see. Yes, let's get into this. Nice and big where you can see it. So it talks about method and system of providing for specifically offline transactions in digital currencies. Now, this was back a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago exactly. But it's about this recent article that, you have XRP, Ripple, and Mastercard taking over global payments, and how you have the CBDC trust and the evolution of money published by Mastercard. And it mentions specifically CBDC platform Ripple as part of the inaugural set of CBDC partner programs. Mastercard also holds what? A patent for what? Offline transactions in digital currencies. The XRPL has already been previously modified by, of course, XTOPay to provide out-of-order transactions that are required for offline modes, expiring tokens, recovery accounts, and built-in digital ID features. Mastercard and Ripple are working together to revolutionize digital payments utilizing XRP as a bridge currency in an XRPL. Hence why we also gave those examples of other bridges through R3. Now, look what is mentioned here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says a method for processing an offline blockchain transaction includes generating by first device an initiated message. Again, think about ISO 222 for a minute, right? This like further solidifies and pounds at home. transmitting by the first device the initiated message, to a second device, receiving by the first device a handshake message from the second device, including a certificate and a recipient public key verifying the first device. The handshake, I guess I will read all this, sorry about that. The handshake message, including verifying the certificate using a certificate chain, generating by the first device a pay message, including transfer data. Remember, we were talking about this earlier in regards to not just messages, but instant payments, transfer data, the transfer data, including data values for a proposed blockchain transaction, transmitting by the first device the generated pay message to the second device, receiving by the first device and accept the message from the second device, including a digital signature of the transfer data. I mean, if you think about it, this is basically like Mastercard, but being what? On chain, right? Through, DLT and so on. And verifying by the first device the signature of the transfer data using at least the recipient public key. This is where we talk about utility. Do you understand that breakdown of utility? All right, so this is from Dingy, and he talks about this flip of the switch, because we've been talking about flip of the switch all, I don't know, probably for a couple weeks now. Hence why Will Fix's channel just like freaking exploded, right? I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you have the likes of Zach Rector, recognize it. Everybody's seeing like, who is this guy that came out of nowhere, right? It's pretty incredible, Will. It's awesome. It's really awesome. And Will is a nice breath of fresh air. So, all right, we have this from a guy named Red Pillbot. Maybe I'll give him a follow. Holy cow. Wow, I guess I will. He's got a lot of crazy stuff. 252,000 followers. All right. So why is somebody with 252,000 followers talking about the flip of the switch? All right. Manufacture banking crisis. When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze. Oh, no. All right. Thank you to Mr. Dingy. Let's go ahead and play this. And I guess we'll put a little XRP thing up there. All right, here we go.
When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the US dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very strange and disturbing new reality.
And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest?
First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened and the contagion has spread worldwide. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say, closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say, transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from their money, riots will erupt. It's going to get really bad really quickly.
How would such a freeze actually work? And wouldn't that be highly illegal?
Well, it wouldn't be illegal technically because they've been quietly laying the groundwork for years. They've rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch and they'll impose ICE 9 rapidly. And again, all of this will be legal because they've rigged the system in their favor.
I have seen this a long time ago, but you know what? A lot of people haven't seen it. So thank you for sharing that nonetheless. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's like I don't want to turn our channel into like, hey, welcome to the Hal Lindsey of Crypto Show, if you know who Hal Lindsey is. But the point is, it's crazy, and you could always share stuff like that. Some people agree with that, some people don't, but it kind of leans towards the whole thing of like, what in the world? Does this line up with everything that we've been talking about for, almost going on 2 years, right? Year and a half, 2 years. Pretty crazy stuff.